Hello everyone, this is cometSOFT and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience living as a New Yorker in Hanoi, Vietnam, and also my history with game development, with my passion of gaming, Japanese role-playing games, that kind of stuff. So I was born and raised in New York City, and I moved to Vietnam about 4.5 years ago at the beginning of 2019. And I'm also really into Japanese role-playing games. As you can tell, I recently released a game called Turn-Based Tourney, which is sort of a JRPG style boss rush kind of game, in which you select a party of 4. There's different classes, like there's medics, there's archers, warriors, and whatnot. And you basically have to enter this competition and defeat all the bosses one by one without falling to any of them. And making turn-based tourney was definitely somewhat of a challenge, even though it is made in RPG Maker, which is a very easy to use engine to make turn-based style games. I've tried to use Unity and Unreal Engine before, but it's way too complicated for me, and I also really don't like coding. So that's why I decided to opt for RPG Maker. And even though it's a very small scale game, I still felt like it was kind of surreal to be able to make something like that, because growing up I've been really into JRPGs like Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest and Shin Megami Tensei, Persona, Trails of, and the like. And I feel like these video games have really shaped the way that I see games as a whole, right? A lot of these games have a very strong emphasis on story, on character development, on character interaction, and whatnot. And I feel like these kinds of games, they sort of set the marker in terms of what an enjoyable experience should be. Like, you have games like Final Fantasy VI, which has amazing music, right? It has a fleshed out world. It has believable characters. And this is a game that came out almost 30 years ago, and it still holds up today. Honestly, Final Fantasy VI clears a lot of RPGs that even come out even within the past couple of years, and that was one of the reasons why I decided to try to dip my toes into game design. Granted, it's very small scale game design, right? Turn-based tourney you can beat within an hour and a half max. So being able to immerse myself in those experiences has really helped me in creating a game like Turn-Based Tourney. Now, as for why I decided to move to Vietnam, actually, after I studied my master's degree in Minnesota, I decided to travel the world for a bit, because at that point I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. So I decided to travel to 3 different countries. I went to France, Singapore, and Vietnam. And Vietnam was the place that definitely had the biggest impact on me. I felt like people in Vietnam were super friendly. People really like to have a good time, whether that be going out, partying, going to bars and clubs. I don't really like going to bars because I don't drink alcohol or beer, but I kind of get that scene. Sometimes I'll go to clubs, but not that often. But I feel like just going out in Vietnam, it's always a very lively experience. It's never a boring experience, which is definitely led to a lot of friendships that I've created in the past couple of years here. And of course there are good things and bad things. For one, there isn't really a robust transportation network. There are buses, but they come pretty infrequent. There is a metro system, but there's only one line currently. There's going to be a second line that's going to be operational next year. But aside from that, if you don't like taking the bus and you're not near a train line, then you're either going to have to take Grab which is basically Southeast Asia's version of Uber. Take a grab bike, a grab car, or you can just ride a car or ride a motorbike. Now, riding a car in Hanoi is absolute hell because the traffic is absolutely insane. Whereas if you're riding a motorbike or even a bicycle, you could sort of weave your way through traffic pretty easily. Yeah. Also, Vietnamese food is great. Like, if you're into noodles, then you have bún riêu, you have bún bò Huế, and of course you have pho, and everyone knows pho, right? But then there's also a lot of other dishes as well. Like, there's bún đậu mắm tôm as well, which is sort of like tofu mixed with like vegetables and pork, and you have the fish sauce, the shrimp sauce called mam tom, which has an absolutely pungent smell. Oh my god. In Vietnam, there's two different kinds of people. There are people that love mam tom, the fish sauce, and there are people that absolutely hate that fish sauce. And I'm definitely in the latter camp because I can't stand that sauce at all. Like, at all. Yeah. But anyways, as for gaming in Vietnam, gaming is actually very popular in Vietnam amongst like all ages. Like, both men and women play a lot of games in Vietnam, but primarily mobile games because they're free and they're cheap. Console gaming is not very popular in Vietnam because it is prohibitively expensive for many of the locals here. For example, the average salary of a person in Hanoi is around 6 to 7 million Vietnam dong, which is around $300. And if you want to buy a Nintendo Switch, that's going to set you back $300 right there. So, yeah. So a lot of people opt to play mobile games because mobile games tend to be free. And yeah, there are in-app purchases, but typically people don't spend that much on in-app purchases here. But yeah, gaming's definitely on the rise in Vietnam. Some of the most popular games here are like MOBAs, for example, League of Legends, of course. But then you have Dota as well. You have Arena of Valor, whatnot. Yeah. But as for me, I've been really into PC gaming as of recently. Growing up, I've been more into like console gaming, but recently, because there have been a lot of JRPGs that have been releasing on Game Pass and Steam and the Epic Game Store, I feel like now if you have a decent PC and you're really into JRPGs, then PC actually has a pretty good selection. And that's one of the reasons why I do most of my gaming on PC these days, despite the fact that I have a PlayStation 4 and a Nintendo Switch. Of course, there are a lot of exclusives that come out on the Switch that I really enjoy playing, but for the most part, I just game on PC now, especially now that I have Game Pass. And in Vietnam, Game Pass is only about $3 to $4 a month, and so it's a very good way to save money while also having a large repertoire of games at your disposal. Alright? And the Game Pass library has become more and more impressive, especially as someone that almost exclusively plays Japanese games and the indie here and there. Like recently I've been playing Sea of Stars, which isn't Japanese, but it's definitely like Chrono Trigger in the 21st century. Like, come on, let's be honest. You look at this game, you look at the battle system, you look at the world map, it's basically Chrono Trigger, but in the 21st century. And it's thanks to Game Pass that I've been able to sort of explore these kinds of titles and really become well acquainted to games that maybe I otherwise wouldn't have played. And also getting JRPGs essentially for free. Well, not really for free since I have to pay a monthly subscription, but basically for free, right? So yeah, Vietnam has been great. I hope to stay here for a long time, and I hope you guys will also like and subscribe and leave a comment, because I definitely want to create content for this channel long term as well. I've dabbled into content creation before. I have a Vietnamese TikTok channel, which is fairly successful, but I definitely want to create content for Western audiences as well. Well, worldwide audiences in general, but basically I want to create content for the entire world and not just Vietnam. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to start this channel. So I hope you guys can like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And if you guys want, you guys can also get Turn-Based Tourney on the itch.io store as well. I would really appreciate that. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.